Okay, we'll do the countdown and then start the show. All right, in five, four, three, two, one.
A lot of things have been up this week. A lot of crazy stuff has happened as well in the gaming
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and
sphere.
welcome to episode
I mean, we had the Game
586 of
Awards
the
stuff this
DrunkNerds
past week.
podcast.
We're
I'm host as always,
obviously going
I'm
to be
Tyler. And
talking
join me, we
more
have the
into
man,
and stuff.
the myth,
But
the legend himself,
as for
Sir
Colonel Gables,
Colonel Gables.
got
What's up,
off
buddy?
of that 5 day long rest I had, went back to work, did my usual stuff, but did have a chance to at least play a little bit of something. Like
Oh, yeah.
it, I didn't really play too many games this week because I've been so tired from work stuff plus everything else. But on top of that, though, it's like I did pick up quite a few games. I mean, I was showing Tyler this before the start of the podcast, though. But for listeners, I'm just going to go ahead and, listeners of the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and just say it. I'm going to show for our video watchers on YouTube and whichever that Tyler decides to upload these. Like, I got like games like Octopath Traveler 2 and like Bayonetta Origins, like for at least $35 a piece over at the local Walmart I got. On top of that, I got my copy of Star Ocean's, the Star Ocean, the second story R. I'm basically doing that because of the fact that these type of Switch games are going to be harder to come by, especially since physical stuff is starting to dwindle down in a lot of major retail stores. It feels like, but now's the time if you're for anybody even remotely like wanting to collect for a console, especially when it gets close to the end of its lifespan, the best deals you're going to get is like right before the next console gets released or right before like it's announced even. So going to your local retail stores and stuff and picking up like certain games on clearance. I mean, sometimes Walmart will have a hidden clearance sale for different games that have been on their shelves for months. I mean, hell, I've had a couple different deals over the Walmart that I had to where I gotten like Xenoblade Chronicles the definitive edition. I walked in one day and I saw it was for sale clearance at like for $10. I'm like, ooh, okay, first party Nintendo game, $10, usually 50, deal. But yeah, on top of that, though, I did end up picking a couple of PS4 games off secondhand. Went to a local pawn shop I used to go to a long while ago. Got Monster Hunter Iceborne and also a copy of Hades. Man, both games are fantastic. Obviously, Hades, excellent game. I've wanted Hades in physical form for any type of like decent indie games, that I know I'm going to be playing over and over again. I like to get them in physical because I'm the type of gamer to where if I enjoy a single game and I want to play it over and over in different like platforms and stuff, I don't care if I rebuy it for another system. I mean, hell, I'm a Nintendo fan first and foremost. I mean, I'm so used to rebuying the same game over and over across multiple systems to where it's like, whatever. But other than that, Tyler, I've been feeling pretty good though. But anyway, how have you been doing, friend?
I'm doing all right. It's been a long week. It's getting that time of year. It's getting busier, stuff like that. So a lot of working, not a lot of much free time as I
Yeah, I hear
want.
you.
So I haven't been able to do as much gaming as I'd hope, but got a little bit in. So I'm enjoying that, I guess. But clinging and banging as always. But I've had like a lot of like health issues recently. Not so far, nothing too scary, but I've got a lot of doctor's appointments, stuff like that. Um,
What?
and Gables,
Uh huh.
I had to go to the doctor Monday, and it's about Tyler had to have someone put a finger up his tooth hole.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay. I shouldn't laugh, but go ahead.
no, no. Look, so far, I mean, as far as everything, I still got some more to go here, but so far, I feel like we're at least finding out answers. There's been a lot of very frustrating doctor visits of uh, being misdiagnosed for something, taking
Yes.
things I didn't need to take, that then have caused more issues down the line, stuff like that. So it hasn't been fun, but I'm laughing about now because like finally with this doctor, I kind of not ranted but vented a little bit about my frustrations. Like I've
Okay.
always I just got the first bill of my first visit, and I've got several more bills coming for other visits that I can't afford to pay for. So that's pretty fucking great. But anyways, uh, this doctor, I've having some other issues going on, and she's like talking to me. She's like, okay, like, has anybody checked your prostate before? And I'm like,
Oh.
no. She's like, well, you're, she's like, how old are you again? I'm like, I'm 34. I'm like, I did tell him like, there's no history of like colon and stuff like that, but my dad had to have some procedure done earlier this year, nothing major, just like a thing going, like an outpatient thing. I had to get checked on. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to do that today. Is that okay? I'm like, at this point, do whatever. Like, you can, if you gotta take a fucking sledgehammer to it, I don't even care. Just do what you gotta do. Um, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah,
overblown.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's fine. I mean, it's
eh,
not great. It's more awkward and uncomfortable than anything. I'd say make sure like I didn't have the pleasure of like normally they give you like the stuff you got to drink to completely clear you out the day
yeah,
before, and what's coming, and like it's kind of like I imagine kind of like a porn star where you want to make sure everything's clean, and not say it was unclean. Like I had an idea it was gonna happen, so I took a shower before I went, but like I
yeah,
wasn't,
yeah,
but like you didn't like they usually have you like drink this liquid and like clear the whole system out and stuff like that. And you got I didn't do any of that, so I was like very nervous. I was a little gun shy there at first, but yeah, I ended up doing all that. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Gables is a little overrated. So people out there, if you're you haven't, if you like, maybe you're in the mid 30s like we are, or you're younger and like I'm never gonna do that. It's not that bad. It's not fun. It's just awkward. I don't know, like yeah, it was. She just she put it up there. Luckily, used some gel. I appreciated that. And she went up there. It was. I mean, it didn't hurt. It was uncomfortable. Wouldn't don't want to do it again. But I'm gonna tell you, Gibbs.
So,
Yeah, it was fine.
so was she older or was she around your age?
Probably a little younger. She's married. So
Ah, yeah.
the honestly the most awkward part is that they had to have a second person in the room with you when they do it. So she had to grab a random person, like a random doctor, to come in and like stand there with. I'm like, that was somehow worse than the actual finger up the ass. Was
What's worse is not the thing that happened to you itself, but the fact that someone was watching her
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. It's like someone else was watching my shame here. It's like I just have another woman standing here watching this whole thing happen. But I
I
don't know.
won't lie to you, man. I would feel mostly awkward too if there was like an audience while it's being done. It's like
Yeah,
he was trying to train her or some shit.
yeah. No, it wasn't even a training thing. It's just like they had to have somebody else in the room. I'm assuming it's like a sexual harassment type of like thing. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my guess. I don't know for sure,
Understood.
but I get it.
For the
Probably
opposite gender,
probably
yeah.
that. Yeah, that too. So yeah, but yeah, it was fine.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying, whatever. Moving on to something else. Get out of this awkward situation here. I feel like it's just my job to tell people it's not that bad.
Mm.
Because like I had a coworker that like had a like he was like he's like in his mid 40s. He had to get it done, and he
Yeah.
was like going on about like he was so worried about it, and I was giving him a bunch of shit, about it, and I feel like maybe this is just karma for me. But anyways,
The most awkward thing would have been if you would have farted while she was like, eh.
that was a major concern. I'm not gonna lie to you, Gales. I purposely didn't eat before I went because of that. But yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, but yeah, he was like totally nervous about it. And I'm like, oh fuck, man. Yeah, I'm not too far away from that myself. And then like literally weeks later, I have to have it done. And I was like, oh okay. But anyways, this is actually a video game podcast where Gables and I get together every week and talk about video games and everything we love about them. If you, for whatever reason, are still listening, first off, what the fuck's wrong with you? Second off, thank you, I guess. If you like all this, please like, follow, subscribe. We're on every social platform. We are on every podcast service out there. Please just look for us, Drunk Nerd, Drunk Nerd Podcast. We're on YouTube as well, Twitch, all that. There's links in the description down below for all those places. Please, like I said, hit the 5 stars, leave a comment, hit the subscribes, the follows, whatever you can do. Share is probably the best thing you can do for us. Gables and I are just two guys that like just get together every week. I have a couple beers while we do it, and we like to talk about video games and anything we love about them. So yeah, we don't get paid for this. We pay to do this, but we enjoy doing it. And yeah. Anyways, Gables, without further ado,
Yeah.
it's been a big week in gaming. So I don't know if we're probably not gonna do what we've been playing this week, but quite frankly, we haven't been playing much. Um, I've just been playing the fuck out of Fortnite. So if you want, I could maybe talk about Fortnite later if we have time, but I probably won't. But yeah, we have the Game Awards, Gables, and
Yes.
before we get into um, like everything, what was your overall thoughts on the Game Awards themselves?
It was relatively positive. I mean, it wasn't anything like entirely negative. I mean, I really didn't come in too many expectations because I already had a set level anyway coming into the show because I already figured who was going to win, already figured what like if there's going to be some sort of like show and stuff. I know I wasn't going to rely on anything Nintendo related because Nintendo doesn't usually do a lot of announcements or these type of shows. So I really came in with low expectations, and I actually was rather impressed that not only did I like portions of the show, but yeah, there was a lot of announcements that I really did like coming
Yeah.
out of this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this was his best overall show for announcements
Yes.
and pacing. Like, there's always gonna be lulls. You got the commercials, and yeah, we could complain about them, but it's also one of those things. Like I always say, and he said himself, this doesn't happen without those ads. So,
Yeah.
if I had to sit through 20 minutes of ads for a 3.5 hour show, that wouldn't otherwise happen, then that's fine. Um, so I think overall the big like in the pacing, like I said, was way better because that's been like,
Yes.
he's even said himself is like sometimes they front load the show with like a lot of big like they try to put like the announcements, a lot of the announcements in the beginning of the show, and then try to make and then it's like a lot of lulls, a lot of the ads are in the back end or trying to like pace it better throughout, and then maybe like sometimes he's had like some years he's like the first like 45 minutes is just like, oh my god, crazy announcement, crazy announcement, and then like the rest of it is just like a lot of like smaller stuff and like stuff that's just not as big or doesn't connect for a lot of people. So it's like even the big stuff is just too front loaded. He did a great job, I think, of pacing everything out as far as big announcements, ads, stuff like that. My biggest complaint, and I think it's a complaint from a lot of people, is um, look, I get it. Like there are we have the golden joysticks, we have dice awards. Very few people actually watch those, but I understand. Like we watch this because and people watch this. As big as it is because of the announcements that come out of it.
Yep.
But this is an award show,
Yeah,
and
that's true too.
the fact that there was only 12 minutes of actual time dedicated to the actual award part of the show. Not like Jeff Keighley on the top of the stage going through like a bunch at a time, but like on the stage itself were spent on the actual award show part of it is just
Oh yeah.
awful. And like when Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, spoiler for that if you're waiting for us to tell you later. Um, he like literally the CEO of the company is talking about how one of their key people died um, earlier this year or just a few weeks ago. And
Yeah.
while he's telling that, the wrap it up sign is blinking at him. I'm like, it's the fucking game of the year, and you're giving him 45 seconds to do a speech. It's like, this is the end of the show. Just let him fucking go. But just like literally people like you, and plus when you have people like you have a lot of people that don't speak English, and then you have to have a translator. And it's like they're like they have like a time to like say one thing and then this person translate it and it's like gotta go. There was another one where two people were going up there to talk and the one guy talked and the lady went over to go talk and they just blare the music over her. She couldn't even say anything. It's like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like
That was just ridiculous at
this
that point.
this show is 3 hours and 37 minutes long. Would an extra 15 minutes on speeches like or just time dedicated to that would that have killed anybody? Like I get it. Like there's been a lot of complaints in the past of like the show being long. The shows are like if this, like I'm not saying I want the show to be 6 hours, but if the show goes 4 hours, but you have the goods there to make it 4 hours, then that's fine. Like people aren't gonna leave because of like this is like part of it. And like he always talks about this is a celebration of games, and it's like we did nothing to like there was no celebrating of games like other than like game commercials. That was the celebration. And it's like that's fine. Like I said, I'm like that's what we're here for. Like if we as fans actually care, like really wanted like the full like everything, there's the joysticks, there's dice, there's other award shows that we can watch. But this is the big one. This is the one that gets the most, that like this is the one that has a lot of the main people that go to it. This is the one where like this is the one where people can like put out there like hey, this one at the video game awards, this one at the game awards, like this is the one they can post. This is the one that actually stands out to consumers as well. And it's like let them spend fucking 3 minutes talking about hey like
I
thou
do agree with the whole game of the year
yeah
stuff. It should have been presented. They should have been able to speak longer than what they should have been.
yeah
I mean, that there's no question in that.
yeah
As far as like the other award, like the people that won the awards and stuff, I mean, yeah, having more than like say like 45 seconds to do a speech, I mean, that should have been a gimme.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe at max, maybe like 2 minutes.
Well, especially, and we'll get into it. Especially as like we have celebrities on the stage. We have
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie, which I like Anthony Mackie. All right, I like him in Marvel. I liked him in Twisted Metal. He was very entertaining in that.
Uh-huh.
I don't need 4 minutes of Anthony Mackie doing a lame ass stand up. I'm fine with him being there. It makes sense why he's there. He's in a Twisted Metal show, and he's there to present best adaptation, I believe. Like so, I get, and also to announce season 2 of Twisted Metal. I get it. It makes sense he's there. I don't have a problem with like celebrities being there for, especially when they make sense to what we're telling, that they're a part of like the gaming itself. But to have him come out, the presenters literally spent more time talking than the award winners.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, and like
That's not good. It should have been the reverse.
yeah, and I heard people saying that like maybe they were scared about them saying something about like the job layoffs, and I'm just like, these are the people that are
No,
the ones laying the people off. Like we don't have to worry about them saying something. Most of these people like, or they
true.
were like maybe not the people making the decision, but they're the ones that ultimately have to lay the people off. But it's like also like I don't know, it's a celebration of games in the year of gaming. It's like I feel like I get like Jeff Keighley's got to play a little bit of politics here as far as like he can't say anything too much because then it'll piss off the people that give him the the trailers that bring people to the show. But like I don't know, bring up the fact that over 6,000 people in games development have lost their jobs on top of games journalism that we know of. 6,000 people are out of jobs this year, and this is supposed to be the best year of gaming of all time. This is the best year in gaming as far as revenue goes, and we have some of the big, like the most massive layoffs we've ever had in the industry. It's very sad. Like I don't know, I'm not saying like I need a 5 minute speech about it, but 20 seconds. That's all I'm asking. Um, but overall, though, Gables, yes, I was very like get the negative out of the way. Overall, very entertained. Like I said, this is some of the best announcements ever out of this. Well, without further ado, though, let's get into some of
All
the
right.
announcements we got here. Shoot, give me 1 second here. I'm doing a timestamp. All right, starting off here. So we have the opening act. This like basically don't want to call it the pre-show, but it's the pre-show. Um, Start off here. Some of these we'll skim through. Some of these we'll spend a few seconds on. Some we'll talk more about. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. This did leak, and this actually I want to say real fast. I'm surprised almost nothing leaked. A few things
Yeah.
like we had Last of Us Part 2 that leaked, obviously a couple weeks ago. The Brothers: Tales Two Sons did leak. Not the trailer, but the fact it was going to be announced at the Game Awards leaked. This is a remake in the Unreal 5 engine. Um, this is coming on February 28th, 2024. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I have not. I own this on multiple platforms, and I've only played it the first like 30 minutes of it. Um,
Yeah, same here.
yeah, and like I think when it first came out, like 2013, I don't think I was don't know if I would appreciate it as much. I've been always wanting to go back. I really, especially since like not It Takes Two, but A Way Out when that came out. And it's like I think
Oh
overall
yeah.
like I like the games I enjoy now is much different than what we were 10 years ago when we started this podcast. But yeah, I'm totally up for. I'll probably just buy this wait for this version to come out at this point. The only downside it literally comes out the day before Final Fantasy VII. So, um,
Oh.
but
Oh.
yeah, this is a pretty short game, but yeah, I this looks it looks gorgeous, and yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wait for it. What about you, Gables?
You know what? It's fine. I mean, I'm not too surprised there's a remaster of it, but because of the success of the past couple of games and
That's
stuff,
a good point. Yeah,
that having a remaster of this makes the most sense
yeah,
because not a lot of gamers, even like that are even like 18 now, probably don't have never even tried playing
yeah, yeah,
like to the brothers.
yeah. Like yeah, especially like you're a teenager when that game came out. Maybe now you're in your mid 20s or something like that. You can appreciate that game more.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's a good point though. That's you can put Joseph Ferris's like name on the trailer. People know what that means. You could say
Yep.
the guy from It Takes Two, and it's like it's that game's probably gonna be more successful now than what it was when it initially launched. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Next up here we had Inscription. The creator of Inscription, Daniel Mole's next game, Pony Island 2, Pain as Circus. Um, I've not played any of his games before. I have completely respect what he does. This game looks batshit crazy. What have I seen though of like stuff? It's not for me. But I know a lot of people out there are incredibly excited for this one. What about you, Gibbles?
For that one, I really wasn't digging it all too much. I mean, it's like what you said though. It's a little bit crazy. Not really much up my tea. Like, not my cup of tea, really. Didn't really try Inscription when that one came out, even though that's a cool concept
Yeah,
in terms of that initial type of board game sort of S type of stuff. But Yeah, just didn't do it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. I'm like, I'm excited to see people's like reaction to it, but it's like when it
Yeah,
comes out. But um, I should probably check out Inscription though. Like, I think it's on like one PS PlayStation Plus or Game Pass now. So,
at
um,
least one of the two.
yeah, I know it was on Game Pass, but I think it's over on PlayStation now. But next up here, Usual June. This is a narrative like action game. So it's kind of almost like a detective game, but you are also it's like a third person like adventure combat game. So Gables, this is
Hmm.
what I would call my shit. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped for this one. This is definitely a me game. What about you?
Well, honestly, it didn't really like hit with me too
No.
much, because like I do like a good variety of games, but at the same point, it's sometimes the more like weirder ones or some of the more obscure ones don't really hit well with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah.
Yeah. Next up here we had Harmony. I can't Harmonium the musical. I believe so. This is the one with the girl that is deaf and she wants
Oh.
to like she like plays the drums stuff like that. It's like she almost like gets sucked into like almost like an Alice in Wonderland situation, and like she like it's actual like she's like singing. It's almost like very much like a Disney musical, but like she's deaf and she's like singing and playing instruments stuff like that.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
don't know if this would be a game I'll play, but I want to see some more of this because I'm curious like what is the game itself. I will say this has the potential to be what I would call my shit. But it's definitely I want to like what is this like all like is this like a rhythm game? Is this like an action game? Like is it like because Gables, as you know, I can't do rhythm. You've seen me play rhythm games and it does not go well. Or you just trying to do anything in rhythm, it does not go
Oh
great
yeah,
for anybody.
like a Mario Wonder.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I know. I couldn't do the goddamn. Gables
I
laughed
jumped to
at
the
me for like
beat, and you freaking kept on jumping
took me
off
like
beat.
5 minutes to do like a 20-second section because I couldn't literally couldn't do a fucking a jump to a beat. Um, yeah, so this like I said, this is we're gonna put this on Tyler's my shit alert, but
Okay.
we're gonna wait to judge later. What about you?
I'll be honest with you. This is gonna be one of those games and stuff where I probably just do a hard pass on them because, it's not directly to me.
Yeah,
It's not. It's basically. It feels like it's more aimed towards like, say, more of like a kid friendlier type of like audience and stuff that may be deaf or maybe like have certain disabilities or
yeah,
something like that they will probably enjoy playing a game with a character that they can more relate to. Not saying this game's gonna be bad or anything though, but for me personally, I'm less likely to go forth and try out this game because it doesn't really hit a lot of the criteria that I would, want to play in a game.
yeah. No, that's fair. Next up here, this is the Dead Cells devs next game, Windblown. It is like looks like it's like a three-player roguelike kind of like a top-down uh,
Hmm.
game roguelike game. Looks I thought the animations look really gorgeous. Like you have like a it's like a lizard, like almost like a bat looking dude, and I can't remember what the other creature was. But
Axolotl.
yeah, never heard of that before. But it looks it's like incredibly like gory as well, like a lot of blood, but like people like the players getting like cut in half, but looks great. I never played Dead Cells. I am not a roguelike person. I respect my own time on like roguelikes, so this is maybe not like there's been a few I've gotten into, like Hades I got into for quite a bit. Uh,
Oh yeah,
but
there's always the exception to the
there's
rule.
always exceptions. Yes. Could this be an exception? Maybe. But I love the way it looks. I love the art style of it. Like that's definitely a like I'm gonna put this on like the lower tier, possibly my shit alert Gables, because you know me, I'm a sucker for a great art design. So, and this the gameplay looks great. It looks fun. It's fast, and also possibly uh three person co-op as well on top of it. That could be fun playing a roguelike with your friend. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they had a year though, but looked great. So what about
Well,
you?
that's the thing though. In the Steam early access stuff is in
Oh,
2024.
that is right. They said early
They
access. Yeah.
didn't announce anything in terms of an actual release date, but we know that there's going to be open beta in 2024. As for the game itself, this looks awesome. This looks like something I would sit down and play
All right.
quite a bit. Even with like the whole different aspects of the teamwork type of stuff. It's basically 3D Dead Cells. That's what it kind of feels like
Yeah,
to me to
that's a good
some
point. Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to give this one a try.
So can we put this on the Gables my shit?
Well, this will be the first one where I would say, yeah, this is my
All
shit.
right.
So I'll put this on my list.
Possibly next up on Gables My Shit. We got like my shit like list, my shit shelf. I'm going to have to figure something out for that. We'll to put a gimmick on this one. Anyways, Thumper's next game, Thrasher, another rhythm-based game. I'm not Gables once again. My weakness, rhythm. But I love the way it looks. Thrasher, uh, looks fucking gorgeous. Um, this will not be like even like as much as I would want to play this game, just not gonna happen for me. Not at all. What about you?
Hmm. Honestly, this is probably going to be one of the ones I don't try out either, only because it's like I do like my music rhythm games, but at the same thing, I didn't really give Thumper really a try either,
Okay.
only
Yeah.
because there are some music rhythm games that kind of make me sort of like motion sick,
No.
like
Yeah.
motion sick, like say Guitar Hero used to make me motion sick because if I stared at the screen for a while with the notes coming at me and stuff, I barely played for like about 20 minutes and stuff, and all of a sudden, like everything in the room started like jumping up, and I felt like I was getting sick. So for something like that, the visuals kind of like they're kind of feel like kind of weird to me. So no.
Yeah. 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 I wonder if like, there's been some questions of possibly this will be in VR, which I can see because uh, Thumper was hugely successful in VR. That was like one of the big
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
PSVR
absolutely.
launch games as well. So next up here we have this will be a quick one here. Um, Dredge is now collabing with Dave the Diver. There's will be some Dredge attachment there.
Huh.
Two big indie, well, one a big indie game working with a major development with Nexon. So that's pretty cool little collaboration for both of them. So yeah, really cool. That's coming next week. So that's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
Um, Gables,
Yeah.
maybe one of the biggest surprises. Secretly on the opening act, a sequel to a game from 15 years ago, exclusively on the Wii Shop. World of Goo 2 was announced. Uh, I don't think there was I think they said. I think it's next year, possibly. I can't remember if they said there's a release window at all. But yeah, 2008 indie classic. I don't know, classic's a little much there, but World of Goo. Um, yeah, 2D Boy and Tomorrow Corporation. There are two. They're like that was original people that worked on it, but they broke off into their own things and they're coming back together to make this. I guess I didn't realize this, but World of Goo was like ported over to like Netflix.
It was also ported onto Steam as well.
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense. But yeah, like I just remember like the only thing I remember about this game was the fact it was like a big deal because it was like one of the few like Wii Shop exclusive games. There was this and
Yep.
another big one that was like
Lost Winds.
was that the 2D one? The
Let's see. That was oh god, Lost Winds was another one of that. But like the 2D ones, I think you're referring to. There's like the Konami ones that were like 2D, like Contra Rebirth. No, was it Contra?
no,
No, there was a
it
Castlevania
no,
Rebirth is
no,
what I'm
okay.
thinking
This is
of.
no, Lost Winds is not the game I'm thinking of. I remember there was
Okay.
another one that was like kind of had some like pretty good buzz that was on there that was exclusive,
Mm.
but very weird. Maybe like the biggest comeback we've seen. But I don't know. Gable, like I never played this game, but
Oh yeah,
I mean, how I'm assuming Gable's the Nintendo Wii Shop exclusive. This has Gable shit written all over it.
dude. This is one of the few WiiWare games I actually got on that service. I only had a handful. Like
Forgot to call it a Wii
World of
Bear.
Goo. World of Goo was one of those games where it was a back then when it reviewed highly well. I mean, it got like late eights, like nines and stuff across the board. It's an excellent puzzle game. It's one of those type of things where you have the little goo balls and stuff like that. You have to connect together in order to try to solve different puzzles. Like sometimes you'll have to make a bridge or something with little guys or something like that. Or sometimes you'll have to like go up to a higher level and stuff. I've played that game. I actually did play that game for quite a bit and stuff. I've never beat it, but I loved the creativity of the level designs and stuff for each stage. It didn't really feel too samey as the result. But yeah, man, I was definitely shocked to see a sequel to World of Goo. I'm like, this is really what I think this is? And like, holy crap, this is something I
Yeah,
haven't seen in quite a long time. So yeah, I was definitely happy to see World of Goo 2. I mean, that just shocked me out of nowhere.
yeah. Definitely definitely a big surprise there. Next up, though, another game for Gables here. Metaphor Refantanzio. Uh,
Yeah.
this is the people that from behind the Persona games. Um, Not a me game. I will say every time I look at Persona or any like their style, I love everything about it. And then I'm like, then my self respect kicks in. And I'm like, this goes against everything that I stand for. If it, like the only other thing, if they put Sonic in this game, it's like the ultimate like, oh fuck you to Tyler. Um, but I guess yeah, they could do it. I guess.
I guess Sonic and the Dark Brotherhood was probably one of those games
Is that the one where he goes
for
back in time
for
with the
DS.
knights? Oh, okay. Um, anyways, uh, yeah, this game looks fantastic. It'll be a thing I never play because it's going to be like 137 hours to just beat the main campaign. But Gables, if there's
Mhm.
anybody that will spend 137 hours on this game, it would be you, and well,
Oh,
and a
absolutely.
million other people. But how are you feeling about this so far?
This looks fantastic. I mean, granted, I understand who the people are going to go forth and create it because they made it especially obvious. Like, oh, hey, these are the people that were the originators, like creators and stuff of Persona, like
Yeah,
3, 4, and 5. Yeah, they're going to be working on this stuff. The game looks crazy. I will say it definitely does have that similar art style to their other works. The gameplay obviously looks a bit fascinating too. I do like the ideas of what they're presenting here, and I can't wait to see more gameplay of this. I mean, we saw quite a bit in terms of like teasing of like story elements, in terms of teasing like what it's going to look like, because it looks freaking beautiful. And quite honestly, this is like their first major game that they've created solely for like say a game of this scale on the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles and stuff, as well as like yeah, for those consoles and stuff. So they're going to be delving more in terms of like visual fidelity stuff as opposed to like what they've done previously for the past work stuff. So I'm more interested in seeing how that's going to come out, come to as well. But it looked really good. I thought it did look really good. It's got a lot of potential.
yeah. I think you're right though. It's funny though. Like they put like for people that made Persona 3, 4, like and like you just look at the game like, no, we know. We like this is it looks just like a Persona game. Well, I'm not saying it in an
Absolutely.
insulting way, but like the art design, it's like when you could like it's like I don't need Kojima to tell me Kojima made a game. It's like I can just look at it for like 5 seconds, like okay, this is a Kojima game. But anyways, moving on here. We had the highest man in the state of California come out next, Matthew McConaughey.
Yep.
Go pew pew pew. He's just like, I just felt like driving, and here I am at the Game Awards to show you this game I've been making called Exodus with the ex Bioware devs. I don't know if that's a good accent or not, but anyways, um, yeah. So this was they showed a trailer for Exodus. It was mostly like a CGI trailer. Then there was like 10 seconds of gameplay at the end. Definitely from the little bit of gameplay we got, look like a Mass Effect game. Which later on we did learn that
Mm,
this is like former Bioware devs and like one of the head writers of the Mass Effect
makes sense.
trilogy is writing this. What's funny though, we had this whole long trailer with a bunch of voice acting. None of them were Matthew McConaughey's, so I thought that was really funny. I don't know, like it's a game I will definitely pay attention to, but it's like man, it's um, like the CG. Like I've always complained like I'm fine with CGI trailers when it's like established IPs and stuff like that, or like we know what it is, um, or it's like a sequel, stuff like that. But like this are like or like yeah, like you have a big. I get why you do it. Like oh, we have Matthew McConaughey behind it, but it's like, but then you don't even have his fucking voice in the goddamn thing. Then we got 10 seconds of gameplay, so I don't know. Like, it's on my radar, obviously, because I'm a sucker for you say former head people at Bioware. I Yeah, I'm gonna pay attention to this game, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like I'm gonna kind of look at a side eye until we get closer, until we see some more of it.
I'm more on the cautiously optimistic side because the premise sounds interesting, but at the same point, I mean, it's so early on to where I'm waiting upon gameplay elements. I'm waiting upon different aspects of it to see what it differentiates between itself and also, like, say, Mass Effect because of how many people that is working on this game that have previously worked on that series and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely kind of a wait and see approach with me.
Yeah, I'm assuming this thing is probably years away too. So
Yeah.
um, next up, Gables, the ultimate cock tease. God of War Ragnarok. We have Valhalla revealed. They kind of tease us, but it's like, oh, like that was original God of War music, and then it's like we see a Kratos on a boat, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the DLC. And then technically it's DLC, but it is a roguelike called Valhalla. That comes
Huh.
out shockingly on the 12th, so just a few days away from as of recording this. But like I talk about, I'm not a roguelike person. Will I probably check this out? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I love God of War Ragnarok, and I'm a weak man. I don't stand for. I have morals. I just don't stand for them. But it's like the
Ah,
dumbest thing I've ever said.
well, that's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, I know. I have morals, but I will easily crumble and not follow them. But anyways, uh, I don't know. Like, yeah, like I'm at this. Like, it sounds like might be some story content into this as well. Who knows how it's gonna work out? But I might just probably just end up just watching a YouTube video on it. But I might dabble it, get pissed off after like 20 minutes, and watch a YouTube video to fill me in on like the things I missed. But it's cool. Like we see some actual character like enemies from the original trilogy in this as well. So that's pretty cool. But
Ah,
yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah. What about you, Gables? They did recommend that you have to beat the game before. You don't have to beat the game. They recommend you beat the game before you play this. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense with me. I was really surprised that there was God of War Ragnarok DLC there. I mean, hell, I mean, with how popular the game was and stuff, I really wasn't thinking they would go the DLC route for like Ragnarok, because I thought like a lot of things probably tied up pretty
yeah,
much close to the end of that game, I would assume.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited about it. I
yeah,
mean, I'll definitely play it down the line once I do finish Ragnarok.
yeah.
But yeah.
Um, yeah. I just hope that like there's been the rumors of there was more content coming, and it was possibly a DLC, and I do hope that like, hey, I'm happy for if you're happy for this, like I'm not trying to yuck your muck here. Uh, for me personally, I've always said like I feel like the Miles Morales stuff that we've been seeing that more from like Ubisoft does it, and we've seen it a lot from like we've seen it with like with PlayStation as well. We've seen it with like Miles Morales, the Uncharted Lost Legacy stuff like that. It's like man, it's like this like I think this could be like the future of like games as games get longer to develop. We can like break off like hey like we can reuse a lot of assets here and tell you something different with these a
Yeah.
lot of these assets and make it something smaller and also make it really well like we've seen with like the Uncharted and Miles Morales stuff like that. So I do hope the God and there's obviously an appetite for those things. So and I would definitely that'd be a day one buy if they do something like that. So next up here, Untitled Goose Game's next game. House is the name of that studio by the way.
Hmm.
Big Walk. Um, with maybe the weirdest trailer of the night. It's like three like little circle things is like the body, but then it's like almost like they're in like an actual like real world. Like I can't like they're like really small. I can't tell. Gills, I don't know what the fuck this game is, but I'm in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but this is my shit. I'm already in.
Dude, this actually looks pretty funny. And it's just the fact that you're just these little blobs that are like exploring everything and stuff. You don't know anything and stuff, but you're just stupidly happy just going through and exploring things. Oh man, when they fall down that pit and stuff like that, and they discover more of their like kind or something in there,
Yeah,
like woo, woo,
the
like
voices.
okay,
Yeah, it looks great. Like, I mean, it's the follow up to our 2019 Game of the Year. So, um,
yep,
yeah, I'm in. Uh, next up here, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. We got another trailer for that one, but the big thing is they did announce that there is a demo that you can play on January 11th. So 1 week before the game comes out. So pretty cool.
okay.
Yeah, I don't. This is definitely not a me game, but I'll probably check out the demo at the very least because well, it's free. So what about you, Gables?
I'll definitely check out the demo. As far as buying the game, it's not really in the cards right at this moment in time, but yet I want to try out this game just to see how my interest would be gauged in it. So,
Yeah. Next up here, Ninja Theory, baby. We got
hmm.
a trailer here for Hellblade: Senua's Saga. My God, I cannot. Oh, man, my nipples were so hard during this part here. Gables, I was so excited. We got that badass fucking. They actually played a song from the game. Then we got a trailer for this. The whole part was awesome up until the very end
Hmm.
where we just got a release date of 2024. But I think the gameplay looks fantastic. Um, Gorgeous. This is the game I bought it. I upgraded from an S to an X4, is because
Yep,
this fucking game. This
absolutely.
this game is a phenomenal game. Well, the first game is phenomenal, but it was gorgeous when it came out in 2017. I replayed it on my S last year, and it was gorgeous on my S and for a game from 2017 on a new generation. So I cannot wait to play this game on in 2024. I mean, obviously take your time with it. I want this game to be as good as possible when it comes out. I was thinking, this game was like rated in Australia just last week or a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
So I felt pretty confident this game was like imminent, like 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 before May. I was thinking like March, April ish for this release date, for a release window. Now I'm thinking if they're only putting 2024 out, unless they're doing another like director developer direct thing, like they did in February. I think they did last January or February. Um, I feel like this game is probably gonna be a summer to fall game now. But this game looks goddamn awesome. I cannot wait to fucking. This is 2024 Gables went from I don't know what's coming out next year to like this might be a really great year. So, how you feeling, Gables?
I really loved what I saw. Absolutely. Maybe wanted to play the original game as soon as I finished watching it. But yeah, man, I mean, I really loved what I saw. Really loved the combat for it. If I had to take a guess of when it'll release in 2024, I mean, it has to be somewhere inside the probably the summer months, maybe an August
Yeah,
release date,
that's
maybe.
when the first one came out. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, maybe like in early September. Who knows? But it definitely is one of the reasons why I did invest in an Xbox Series X. It definitely was one of the reasons why that I've had it on my like whole like fantasy critic things, or at least the last couple of
yeah,
years running and stuff, is
yeah.
because I know this is going to be a freaking good
Yeah,
game.
this
But
is so good.
at the same point, man, it's cool. It's cool that this Senua's Sacrifice and stuff, that game when that originally released, it got a lot of praise, a lot of accolades and stuff because of how different this game was in comparison of other tough style of action games before it. And now here we're looking at the sequel, and there's even more elaborations upon like how like Senua, battles with herself as she's battling against other people and like other tribes, other monsters and stuff, and seeing like the artistry inside of like her inner battles with herself almost kind of like evolve into like all these different like epic battles
Mm-hmm.
against like monsters and all this other shit. It's really fascinating to see, but it also is going to be like really kind of like stressful too,
Oh yeah,
especially if you're playing the game on with headphones.
oh yeah. You have to. It's like I think it's legally required to play this game with headphones. So yeah, definitely play that. Oh my god, game of the year right there. Um, Next up here, Kimura. This is the I can't remember her name, but the lady that she was I think it was 2018. She was at the Game Awards, and she was just like this internet. Everybody loved her.
Oh yeah,
Very excited for when she revealed
the
Ghost
happy
War.
lady.
What?
The happy lady and
Yeah.
stuff for Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yep. Yep. And like she like left shortly after that happened, and she started her own studio. This is she has no partnership deal in place. Like basically, it seemed like it was like an advertisement to hey, give me money, which hey, good for her. And like this is only like it was like a 40-second teaser trailer, but kind of look at the teaser trailer, it looked like she like left Tango GameWorks to make a better Ghostwire Tokyo. So,
That's what it looks like to me.
which hey, I'm down for because Ghostwire Tokyo not a bad game, but it's a seven. I mean, it was
There definitely could have been improvements with the game.
yeah, so and she was the creative director of that game, so I'm excited to see what she does with it. Uh,
Yeah.
Next up here, the Ori team, Moon Studios, revealed their next game, No Rest for the Wicked. It was a like a hack and slash game. I don't know, like a top-down hack and slash game. I don't know. I think it's probably game's probably gonna be really good. But other than the fact, if it wasn't for the fact that Moon Studios was making this, I don't think I would even remember this trailer. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same park though, but I'm just waiting to see more in terms of the game itself before I really decide upon whether I like it or not.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Next up, Sega. With like it was very weird. Like I was like half paying attention because I thought like they like were like going to commercials. So I'm like, okay. So I kind of like pulled my phone. I was kind of scrolling through Twitter, and then like I heard like I heard the Sonic rings. I'm like, I'm like, oh, that new Sonic game just came out on mobile, so maybe that's what they're doing here. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing the Crazy Taxi Let's Play. You start seeing the Streets of Rage gloves. You start seeing all shit, and all of a sudden, boom, we get 5 big games announced from Sega. We got some little bit of gameplay for each of them. We got Jet Set Radio, which that leaked a while ago. When the Persona 3 remake leaked, this leaked as well.
Right,
There's like
absolutely.
trailers stuff probably about a year ago. We got Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi as well. Excuse me. So we've known about the Crazy Taxi as like that was one of the super games that they were making, and it was a very confusing trailer because it made it seem like all of these are like in a big game together. So like I think a lot of people mind was like, how is this gonna be like? Is this gonna be like um, like a hub you go to, like all these games like together in one big game. Like, is this a super game?
Yeah.
And then apparently it's gonna be five separate games. They did say there's more as well. But I mean, look at it like it's I believe the Jet Set Radio is a remake. Shinobi, I don't know if I'm gonna like that game, but that art style fucking ruled. I thought that just like the 4 seconds we saw gameplay, that
Mm.
was the to me that stood out completely. Golden Axe looked just like mediocre as fuck. Streets of Rage, I love Streets of Rage, one of my all-time favorite franchises. Gables, um, it it didn't do a lot for me in that little bit we've seen. Initially, I was like
Right.
pumped, but I would say the more I went back and I watched the trailer a few times to see, like, I wanted to see it again, and I was like, the more I seen of it, the less I was kind of liking it. And the Crazy Taxi, I'm not a Crazy Taxi guy, so I will withhold judgment on that one. But Gables, I know a lot of these are definitely on your my shit list here. That doesn't work either
Mm-hmm.
because that sounds bad when you say shit list. I'm gonna figure. Gables, I will figure out a gimmick before the year's over. How this my shit thing will work.
Well, let's
But
just
yeah,
say
go ahead.
this is definitely on my list to be sure. And just the concept of it, because when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, I had two friends and stuff like that. I had thought I had saw a glimpse of a Sega cabinet at the far end, but I wasn't really too sure of myself. So I continued watching on the commercial and then having that whole scene where the power goes off and stuff, and you just hear the whole
Mm,
Sega is like when you the go into like the freaking arcade cabinet. Then as soon as I saw the reflection upon the guy's eyes, like, wait a minute, is that a Shinobi game? Then all of a sudden it's like just an onslaught of like what was it, 5 to 7 like different games
five.
from like say
Yeah,
like five classic Sega Gen no, those just five classic Sega
games.
games in
Yeah.
general, back to back to back. Because here's the thing, going into this, I already knew that Sega wanted to try to elevate a lot of their IPs and stuff to try to potentially create their super game that they're going to be having before the end of like say 2027 or 2028
Something like
or
that.
something of
Yeah,
that sort.
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, back to back to back, just the idea that they're going back to create a, you know, to going back to the board with Jet Set Radio and then with Golden Axe, with Streets of Rage for Shinobi and then Crazy Taxi. It was overwhelming because for somebody that has loved a lot of these franchises for years now. I mean, this was this was exactly what major like Sega fans have been wanting for a long ass time. And you can thank a lot of that because the success of what the Yakuza series, the Sonic series, like even for
The
like
last
some
one I
things like
disagree with.
Persona.
But
Yeah, you
okay.
got to give Sonic credit too
No, I
because this
don't,
is what happens. Because a lot of their fans spend a lot of money, and this is about what the
because
end
they're bad
result is
people and they
going to
don't know
be.
what they want. I'll say that.
But
Yeah.
yet the success of the major like Sega franchises and stuff is what has led to them putting all these different ideas in a basket, right? And so, with that initial like live service game that initially flopped for them that they spent so much money on,
Yeah. Hyenas
with
spent
hyenas and
$100 million
stuff.
on to cancel it. Yeah.
I know they canceled that, and all of a sudden they just go and just introduce like the classic IPs and stuff. Absolutely, I think this is awesome. I very much like the Shinobi game the most out of all this because it felt like to me, even though out of all the early development stuff that we saw for gameplay, this one feels like it has like a creative vision behind it. It's not like some sort of remaster. Like Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, they look like remasters to me in their early
Remakes.
stages. Yeah, remakes, remasters, but I I have played through a couple of different Shinobi games. I haven't beaten the original, but I have beaten Shinobi 3. That art style is freaking perfect for this. Like the scene where he's riding a wolf and stuff, and you see this huge demon in the background and stuff like that, with the shadows and the elevated like colors and stuff like that, going running down the field, just watching them from a distance. There are preludes to boss battles like inside of games like Shinobi 3 to where you're in this sort of like a chemical plant. This is a good example right here. So inside of Shinobi 3, there's this level, I think level 3, level 4, that you're like inside of this like chemical plant, right? And they're doing all sorts of mutations for these like these people or something to like all these like biochemical kind of beings. And then right before you face off against the boss, you see this giant mass or something like with two big eyes or something like that that stares across from you from the background and stuff. And then once you get towards the actual boss stage itself, you are literally like facing a mass of like flesh and like all this other like grotesque type of stuff. And then you see these two big eyes like looking at you, but it has like hands that are like just going through, just trying to grab at you. And you're trying to avoid that while doing that type of shit. It's that attention to detail that I remember most about the Shinobi games, especially with Shinobi 3, The Return of the Ninja Master and stuff for Genesis. One of that system's best games. One of the best action platformers inside that whole system. But seeing that series come back inside of a modern time, you know, that's huge. I mean, obviously, a lot of these games are going to be a couple of years down the line and stuff. I mean, there are definitely going to be more franchises, as hinted by Sega, and also from what Keeley was saying as well. So this doesn't rule out anything in terms of like say Skies of Arcadia or Virtual Fighter or something like that. What's funny about Virtual Fighter, even though there was no news at the Game Awards, they're bringing back the arcades, the
Mm.
Virtual Fighter 3 like
In Yakuza.
3B or something like that in Japanese arcades.
Oh, okay. I saw like they're bringing a lot of stuff back in the next Yakuza game too.
Oh yeah, absolutely and stuff. But yeah, this doesn't discredit anything in terms of Skies of Arcadia or Virtual Fighter. Oh my gosh. But it also doesn't discredit anything for Fantasy Star, like Fantasy Star as well. So all this now is possible now that we have all these different like IPs and stuff that are trying to elevate with making like new games in them. So that way, once they do have their super game, which apparently is going to be its own set game, apparently, for like away from these five, and the other franchises and stuff. Whatever the super game becomes, whether or not it's like a big collaborative effort, like I say, like a Smash Brothers S type of game or some live service type of game or whatever the hell. I mean, this is a good step forward for them to try to advertise for that, with tie-ins and stuff. But I will say, out of all the games that they could use, Crazy Taxi kind of makes the most sense if they were going to go for the live service route because Crazy Taxi at its core, it's an arcade game. You're basically driving from point A to point B, listen to blaring ass music and stuff like that with some of your favorite cab drivers. Having played through Crazy Taxi, the original one, for the first time this year, you know, it's hype as fuck. Like you have the Offspring blaring and like Bad Religion blaring and stuff like that soundtrack is iconic in and of itself. I can't really play a Crazy Taxi game without those type of artists and stuff. So if you really want to make good of your fans, you're making that type of game, have those type of licensed music from those original games if you can out, like freaking the Offspring and Bad Religion. Get that. That's gonna please longtime fans, especially hardcore fans of Crazy Taxi. But yeah, man, this was fantastic. That Sega announcement and also the next couple of ones after that is when I was like, oh my god, I cannot process what's going on right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm excited to see what they go with it. But I feel like maybe no one's changed the game industry more in the last 6 7 years than maybe Capcom.
Yep.
With the way they've like, hey, what if we just like make really great versions of our prestige um, franchises, put out good games and remake them and do like and treat them with respect and make them really good as well. And
Mm-hmm.
we've seen that pay off 10 times over for Capcom. So now we just need
Yep.
now if Sega can actually do that, unlike they can do it with Sonic, then we'll see. But
I will say this now with that announcement. I feel like Sega's back.
let's let them put a game out first, Gables. Like, I mean, before, like, I mean, look at Konami. We're like, oh, maybe Konami's back, and then we just got the Metal Gear Solid collection. Okay, so let's
No, Sega's back.
no Gables. Oh no. You just they just shit out Sonic Superstars, and you're gonna say they're back. Not even a month ago, they put out a shit fucking Sonic game, and you're gonna tell me they're back.
We'll see a couple of years now, won't we?
Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll be glad to say I'm not even saying I'm wrong, or disagreeing with you. I'm just saying let's hold the horses here. Like I'll be glad to be wrong. I don't want to. I would love it if that Streets of Rage game comes out and it's fucking awesome. That'd be great
Mm,
because I love Streets of Rage.
mm.
I'd rather just making their Streets of Rage 5 instead of that.
Oh,
But
by the way, that Shinobi game, the one that you and I have interest in,
I'll never play it.
apparently,
I'll look at
from
it
what I
and then
understand, it's made by the same people that were responsible for creating in Streets of Rage 4.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna buy that day one. So maybe say, you know what, Gables, I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I haven't heard anybody say it. But I'm thinking maybe Sega's back. But moving on here. Now, if only they could figure out how to make a good Sonic game for the first time ever. Moving on here, Gables. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. All right, next up here, Gables. We're gonna talk about. I have zero to say about this, Gables.
I know, man. I know.
You?
It did look fantastic, dude. I don't have experience playing the Tenkaichi games and stuff, but when it came to this game, though, it's a Dragon Ball fighting game. It looks fantastic. Just want to see more of it when it came down the line and stuff. But barring that, though, I need to see more of it.
Yeah.
I really do need to see more of
You
it.
mean like
But I am.
actually some of it instead of that cutscene that I think I've seen in every single CGI cutscene for a video game for Dragon Ball. I think I've seen that cutscene more than anything else. Um,
Oh yeah, iconic scene.
yeah,
Goku and Vegeta.
yeah. That's, I understand. Yeah, I get that. It's a kind of scene. But hey, you know the only thing I care about Dragon Ball is when they make fighting game fighters and Dragon Ball Fighters itself, or put them in Fortnite. Put the
Oh yeah. I mean the most. I mean the most with Dragon Ball Fighters right now. It's the whole testing of the rollback net code upon like Steam and stuff, which apparently is doing fairly
That's
good.
good. I'm glad Fortnite finally made Dragon Ball relevant. So that's good. Next up here, sorry. I'm sorry, it was Fighters that did that. Dead by Daylight. We've known about this. They announced earlier this year that Supermassive Games is making a single player game in the style of a Supermassive game, which is Gables. I've never played a second of Dead by Daylight. I think I've seen
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes of combined gameplay of Dead by Daylight. It's
Right.
just not a thing for me. But god damn it, Gables, day one fucking buy for me, especially with the song in there. I can't remember who sings it, but like the perfect song because I guess sings daylight and shit in it, so it makes sense. But like there's very little gameplay in there, but it's Supermassive. I am a Supermassive fanboy. Supermassive fanboy for Supermassive. Yeah, the casting of Frank Stone. Some people predicting that maybe this is a Frankenstein thing here. Frankenstein. There's been some rumblings about that. I don't know if Frank Stone is
Okay.
relevant to the Dead by Daylight franchise. Gables, you would know better than I.
Well,
But
that's the thing, man. I mean, I think this is something entirely new. It's
okay,
something like different than that because Dead by Daylight now is so much bigger than what it was when it launched and stuff
yeah,
that there are literally different type of mythos, different types of like licenses, like from other games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil and like horror
they
like
just put Chucky in
movie
there. I think
icons and stuff. They just put Chucky
Nick
in there and all
Cage.
that other shit. But the characters, the original characters, and they do have their various backstories as well. And I think this is going to tie into some bit of like the universe of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it could be like some sort of origin for the initial story of like Dead by Daylight. It's like why these characters are being all like brought into like the whole thing, like the whole darkness thing, and why is
Mm.
there that like a 4v1 esque type of thing
Yeah.
between four kids and one killer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll never play this. I'll never play the main game, but if this is just a Supermassive game, and it just so happens to be attached to Dead by Daylight, yeah, I'm buying this game day one because, like I said, I buy and play everything they make. So, next up here, Square Enix announced a new Mana game. So this, I believe, there was either rumors or leaked or something. I don't know much about the Mana game. I know obviously like the Super Nintendo one, stuff like that. But Visions of Mana, I know a lot of people are pretty excited for this. This is coming out next year. But I know people are pretty
Mm.
excited because from what I understand, is they've kind of like this is like the low tier like Square Enix like RPG games. They don't really put a lot of effort into these, and they have never been like they've been good to like fine, good, but never great. And a lot of people are excited because it seems like they're actually putting a big budget into this.
Oh
So
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people super excited for this game. What about you, Gables?
I was definitely excited about this. I mean, it's with the same cast. It's the whole character stuff like that, and the whole game itself is literally based upon like a sequel to based upon like the original Secret of Mana in some aspects, you know. So it's like there's familiar characters, there's familiar type of gameplay and stuff. Big budget thing it looks like for Square Enix for what they do generally with these type of games. I mean, they have went through and did like the remasters of like the different like I think it was like Secret of Mana and then the sequel to it, like Trials of Mana and stuff. But this one looks this one looks pretty decent in terms of the looks of it, plus the gameplay of it. Obviously, it's more classical style in nature and stuff, but I'm really interested in seeing how well this does because I want this game to do good.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it looks like they're putting good effort into it. So let's hopefully it works out. But next up here, Rise of the Ronin. Got a release date for this one, March 22nd, 2024. Unfortunately, the same day as Dragon's Dogma 2. So, be a not so fun battle there. But this is from Koei Tecmo. This is like very much seems like a samurai game, like, but it's like kind of like the last samurai era. So it's like late 1800s, early
Mm-hmm.
1900s, probably. I can't remember. They probably said the timeline, but I believe that's probably around when it was, when this is. But looks absolutely stunning. Definitely, it's almost like they made like Assassin's Creed style game. This is a game that's definitely on my radar. My shit radar. No, that doesn't work either. I'm gonna figure it out. I promise. But yeah, this is definitely on my radar. I definitely want to like. This will be what I want to see what people say about this in the review process. Of like, this looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but like I mean, Koei Tecmo makes they always put out they never put out like they really put out like bad games, but they're always like they're never really above like an 8, like 8 out of 10. Like they're usually like a 7 type of thing.
Unless it's
I
like
don't know if
Ninja
I want to
Gaiden.
what.
Unless it's like Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, but like I don't know if I want to play like a 7 out of 10 map game. So there's like 9 out of 10 map games I play, and I'm like, I don't want to play this game. So, but like definitely, it's different than what we've mostly seen, from these type of games, and it's like, yeah, I just want to see more because like this comes out and it's just like a 7 out of 10 map game. I'm like, oh, man, but if, like this game comes out and like people are raving about this fucking thing, like this will be a day one buy for me. But yeah, I believe it's also PlayStation 5 exclusive as well. So, um,
Oh, okay. First party effort or timed
yeah,
exclusive.
yeah, it's probably timed. But oh, Gibbs, what about you?
It's definitely a game I would like to give a try. I love my action games first and foremost and stuff, but this kind of feels like the same type of feel I kind of had with okay, where the game that just released this past year, Wulong and stuff. It's not in the same stylings, mind you, though, but it's like
Hmm.
kind of the similar concept to where this year we had Wulong and like Liza P and all these other like action-based games. It's somewhat Souls-like stuff, and then with this one releasing in the same type of time period, not time period, but the same kind of near the same like release date as with Wulong and stuff.
Hmm.
This is going to be one of those games that's going to be tiding you over until like around, I don't know, maybe close to like the summer months and stuff when the one of the biggest like Souls like games is going to be releasing in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, Wukong. That's in August. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like, well, I mean, these are totally two different. Looks like two different genres.
Yeah,
One's like
they
a,
are definitely two different genres.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess they're both from Asia descent. So, but yeah, well, like I said, this is definitely a game that's big on my radar list. But I just want to see what the overall impressions are when it comes out.
Right.
Next up here, Kojima Productions revealed OD. So people don't remember. It's kind of weird. So this was like a big news story last year when like the gameplay of this like leaked last year, and like
Yeah.
we showed it on this podcast last year. And if you just Google Kojima overdose on YouTube, you'll find it. It's like you might scroll down like 5 or 6 videos, but you'll find it and see the weird laptop. Someone recording something off their laptop. You can see the reflection of a dude shirtless watching this video. Um, Very weird, but anyways, so there's gameplay out there. It's like a minute or two long, but it just feels like everybody's forgot that happened. I don't know. I feel like I was thinking crazy bills.
Pretty
Like we
much.
know it. Like I can't wait to see this game. It's like well, there's gameplay out there. Anyways, uh, so OD, we got to see some of the actors that are involved in this one, like Hunter Schafer. She's the one that everybody like wants to play Zelda. So she's part
Yeah.
of this. Also she's from like Euphoria, and she's in the new Hunger Game movies, or the one that just came out. But show a little bit of that. It was like 3 actors, like but you could see some like gameplay in their eyes. So but it's still hard to tell. But it was like them screaming. It's like
Oh
they're to like
yeah.
it's this is a cloud based Xbox game. I did predict this last week on the podcast. I did say that I thought Kojima would be there, but I didn't think it would be for Death Stranding 2. I
Mm.
didn't. There was rumors that this was not the Xbox game, so I thought this was like a third thing he was making. This is actually the Xbox game. He did mention the cloud stuff that Jeff
Mm.
Grubb you mentioned like 2 years ago that he was making a cloud game for Xbox. So this is the cloud game. No idea how that's going to work. We have no idea, like, uh, really a lot of stuff. But he said this is not a video game, but it's not a movie either, which is, I swear to God, I've heard Kojima been saying that since like Metal Gear Solid 2. But
Yep.
anyways, uh, man, this is like a 9 minute long segment, Gables. And I love Kojima. I'm a fanboy. If you've been listening for this podcast for a long time now, I forced myself to play through Death Stranding for like 45 hours to finally beat it over like 4 years, or 3 years rather, because I just love him so much. But I've talked about, I feel like Kojima not being part of Konami is like he's gone full Kojima, and he is up his own ass more than ever before. But I'm still gonna be there day one to play this game. I promise you. I'm gonna buy Death Stranding 2 day one as well. Like I said, I have morals, but I will break on them easily. So um, I don't know. It was just there was like they had like the whole. It was cool to see them. Like they had like the PT door. He came out. The whole like opening part was awesome. Then Jordan Peele, like they played. I got 5 on it. That was fucking awesome. Jordan Peele coming out. That's really cool. But it's like how much of a part of this is he actually really? But he said there's other people he's working with as well, which no surprise there. Kojima loves uh, scanning celebrities into a soul sucking device. Um, and I say that with utmost respect because I'd love to be a part of that soul sucking device as well. But anyways, um, I just thought it went on for a long time. They just talked for like 6 minutes
Yeah, they
and
did.
like said I didn't. I feel like I learned nothing from it. I've watched it 3 times at this point. Like
They just talked about proof of concept stuff, I mean,
yeah, he just said
and
it's
like just basic stuff that they're trying to do.
yeah.
So
Like I'm pumped for this, but it's like I got nothing out of this. Honestly, I got more out of the leaked gameplay that we from a year ago than I did out of this.
yeah,
I don't
what I
know.
learned basically from this is like he's working with Jordan Peele in regards to like with this game, but on top of that, the motion
Oh
capture
yeah,
things and all this stuff that looks phenomenal. I
that's a
mean,
soul sucking device for you.
absolutely though,
Yeah,
but it's Kojima. He's gonna do things that just hit different in regards to any type of games that he does create. I mean, hell, it doesn't matter whether it's Metal Gear, whether it's Death Stranding, or even with OD here. It's like he'll try something new, he'll try something different and see what works, or see what he can go for the push and stuff. And I will say, I do agree with what Jordan Peele said. It's like with Kojima and stuff, it's unlike any other like type of like director or any other type of
yeah.
person that in
He's
terms
one
of
of one.
creating any type of you know content and stuff, where his stuff just hits differently than anyone else's.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, other than that, though, I mean, I can't wait for another like 5 or 6 years until this game comes out.
yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see it 4 more times and then still not know what the fuck the thing is. And I say that, but I also like I will be there to watch all these things and be excited for them. So um, next up here, Jurassic Park Survival. We had like a CGI trailer here, and I'm like, okay, this is like why? So there was rumors of this. Jeff Grubb talked about. I talked about on the podcast last week that there was some excitement over potentially what this could be. And I will say, Gables, like this didn't do too much for me. There was like the 10 seconds of gameplay we got afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked a lot like almost like Alien Isolation that came
Uh-huh.
out like 9 years ago. I'm like, okay, this is like a Jurassic Park look. Just from like a little bit we got, it's like this looks like first person survive. Like you're just trying to survive, you know, um, through this. And apparently it's like uh, the person this you play as, she was like, this is the day after the events of the original movie, and she was left
Yes.
behind in the park. So like she's going
Oh
through a lot of the
boy.
areas you've been through before. Um, and that makes sense from what we've seen here. They like tease the freezer there where like one of the raptors is locked in there and stuff like that. But it's definitely like a game that I'm looking forward to. I want to see more from it for sure. It is definitely like Jurassic Park. I love that. We were of that age when that movie came out, and it
Yep.
definitely left an impact on us. So I'm excited to like actually be really excited for like a Jurassic Park thing again for like I enjoyed the first Jurassic World, but like you think about there's 6 movies and like only like one's phenomenal, another one you can
Mm.
say is good, and the rest are trash. So I'm excited for potentially this could be a really cool idea. Saber Interactive is making it, and they're a pretty good studio. They put a lot of stuff out, and the stuff is it's a studio that's mostly puts out a lot of 7s and 8s. Usually like
Yeah.
7.5 type of games, but I feel like if that comes out and this is what that is, like I honestly like would be okay with that. So what about you, Gables?
It kind of reminded me of Outlast with dinosaurs, personally.
Yeah, yeah, it's a survival game. Yeah,
Pretty quintessentially, it's a survival
yeah, like
horror
Alien
style of
Isolation.
like
Yeah,
game and stuff, and I think that works well with Jurassic Park because you don't know exactly what's around every corner and stuff inside of that initial setting. I think the setting for the game is a perfect thing to where it takes place after the movie and stuff. A lot of the set pieces have already happened; they've already escaped from that island and stuff, and now here you are, you're by yourself, and you have to somehow escape while being chased by a bunch of bloodthirsty dinosaurs.
yeah, yeah.
That's a
Sounds.
perfect concept for a Jurassic Park game.
Yeah, yeah. So honestly, I feel like there's a lot of IPs out there that could probably do something like that. I'm surprised we haven't seen it. Like I'm surprised like Alien Isolation came out and it was
Yeah,
so great. A lot of people like I never played it, but like I feel like I kind of missed that window on that. But everybody like I remember like Jake when he was on the show like when it came
yeah,
out like he raved about that fucking game.
yeah, he
And
did.
I just didn't believe him, and I was like I don't believe you. And then I was like, the people still talk about that game to this day. And it's like I'm so surprised that not more big horror and like these kind of franchises didn't go into that genre. Um,
Hmm.
but maybe this will kind of springboard to more of those. But uh, anyways, next up here, Black Myth Wukong. This game has been I mean we've seen this game a million times by now. It's been delayed multiple times, but finally got a release date August 20th, 2024. This game looks absolutely amazing. This is a story based
Hmm.
off the Chinese novel Journey to the West.
Yep.
Will it be better than Enslaved, based off the same novel? Who knows? But also another Ninja Theory game. But I think this game looks stunning. Looks very much like a Souls-like. Will I play this game? I don't know. It depends on like because I'm not a Souls-like. I just don't like the Souls-like. I like playing games like that. I mean I don't like running into a wall over and over again. But man, like this game looks fucking gorgeous. I just
Hmm.
hope this game is as half as good as it looks. Like that's it. Like if this game just
Absolutely.
actually play as well as it looks, I mean we're talking about a real like game of the year contender here.
This definitely has the this definitely has the potential to be an absolute game of the year contender, if not maybe contender of like, maybe just straight up game of the year if for how good this game will probably hit hard.
Hmm.
It's around that same time frame where like Elden Ring like launched too, like in that sort of late summer sort
No,
of
that
like
was
window,
that was
right?
like February.
Okay, that was like February. Okay,
Yeah,
my mistake. But what I'm saying is though, for Black Myth Wukong, this game looks utterly fantastic. The action, everything else looks fluid. There's a lot of different elements tied in. This game's been in development now for quite a few years now. They had to delay it earlier on this year to next year,
yeah,
but at the same point, it's like I'm already convinced I want to play this game, and now I'm just waiting now for the summer and the late summer in order for me to try to play it.
yeah, yeah. It's just a matter of will they actually hit that date? So we'll
True.
have to wait and see there. Next up here is Suicide Squad. Got a trailer. Looks like the same trailer I've been seeing for years now. Um, that game just has Dead on Arrival written all over it.
Yeah, it's definitely meh for me.
Yeah. Um, next up here with
I
maybe
actually,
go ahead.
I was just saying, I was actually quite insulted that they decided to air that trailer right after Black with Wukong. I'm like, really? What a buzzkill right after what you
I mean,
just saw.
honestly, it's probably instead of trying to put something else big behind it to overshadow it, maybe it's just good to put Suicide Squad right behind it to bring us back, bring us down, then bring us back up again.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster, you know. Um, next up here with maybe the most emotionally impacting part of the show, we had the voice actor of Assassin's Creed Origins, Bayek,
Yes.
show up to I don't remember the guy's name, but he broke off and decided to make his own studio and start actually making his own games. He's done voice acting for a
Yeah.
couple other games as well, but Bayek's one he's probably most famous for. Came on the stage, uh, talked a lot about his father passed away some years back, and like it kind of like inspired him to like change his career and like create his own studio and to like work and I believe it's Surgent Studios is making this. But this is also in collaboration with EA Originals. But like with breaking down, very emotional. My allergies suddenly hit me very hard during this part, Gables. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hmm.
And a lot of tears there. My allergies got really bad in the middle of December. It was very weird. But anyways, got to see some gameplay. And Gables, I was so nervous when he was on here. I'm like, I hope this game is good. I hope like please don't come out and just
Yes.
be like, oh god. And this trailer came out, Gables, and it fucking hit. This game is a 2D like side scroller game. Looks like an action game. This game looks fucking awesome as hell. Coming
Hmm.
out April 23rd, I believe. But man, this game looks phenomenal. I already bought it. I already pre-ordered it. It's $20. If you have Xbox
Dude,
Game Pass, you can get it for 18. Day one buy.
this is definitely a game I want to try out.
Yeah,
I mean, it definitely looks like a fun game. I mean, hell, I mean, even with all the stories and stuff with like him and his dad and stuff, I mean, I was like, highly expecting this game maybe not to be like as decent as it was. So that was a big surprise for me. I mean, this makes it more likely for me to want to try to play his game and just maybe
yeah,
support him for a little bit, you know? I mean, that's
yeah.
seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, that game. Oh man, I was like, just like ultimate, like holy. I was like thinking like wait for like a somber like indie game. And I'm like, holy shit, no, this is like a fucking fast paced action game. Like this looks great. So it's definitely a big 180 on that one. Next up here, Gables. Oh man, Game of the Year 2024 already decided. Um, we have Don't Nods, Lost Records, Bloomin' Rage coming out late 2024. I hope to God it comes out late 2024. This is Don't Nod. People don't remember. I am a gigantic Don't Nod fan. I pretty much play all their games. I don't love all their games, but I play all their games. But this is they are the creators of Life is Strange, one of my favorite franchises and video games. And this is like Deck Nine has since taken over the Life is Strange IP, and they're doing an awesome job as well. But they Don't Know has moved on. Like they're doing a lot of different stuff. They have another game they showed off. Banisher, I believe, which they was shown here as well. The game looks like it could be pretty good, but they usually come out. They put them putting out a lot of different like smaller AA games, and they've done pretty well for themselves. But this is like looks like a return to form of the Life is Strange. Like this is actually being made by the Life is Strange team from the original first two games, and it sounds like they're kind of like basically trying to recreate the Life is Strange thing, where like Life is Strange games are all take place in the same universe. And this apparently, from what I understand, so Lost Records is like the new like Life is Strange, where like that's like the name of like the world basically. As far as like Lost Records is like everything's gonna be take place in this universe, but Bloom and Rage is like is this story, and is very gives me very much like It vibes, where it's like starts off with it's like four like teenage girls and like a rock band, like a punk rock band together, and something happens. We don't know what it is, but then like it shows them as adults. It's like something happened 20. It's been 27 years. Why is it back now? And it's like, oh, I'm in. Like okay, like it is one of my favorite fucking movies. Both of them, the original one from the 90s, and the ones from just a few years ago. And this definitely um, has it vibes for to me. And like if you tell me we're gonna have uh, like the Life is Strange people making something like this sounds fucking amazing. I am in. Day one goddamn buy for me as well, Gables. Oh, he's gone. Gables is gone. He can't hear me anymore. Gables walked away. People that don't know. So it's just me now. But yeah, I am super fucking pumped for this goddamn game. This game, I hope they said, like I said, late 2024. I'm gonna assume 2025, but god damn it, I hope to God it comes out because this is man, I want something like this. It's been a little bit since we've got Life is Strange. True Colors came out September 2021, so it's been a little over 2 years now. And I'm jonesing now for my fix of my next Life is Strange style game. And just give me the fix. Daddy needs his fix. And I hope to God this is it. Um, Next up here we have Berserker. Uh, Kazin announced um, oh yeah, this is the next on game over the top. This is like very much. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Berserker was it looked like a Souls like I remember, but it, like almost like it
Right.
had very almost like it was like very dark style, but it was very like almost like graphic novel style as well. I don't know. Didn't do much for me, Gables. But what about you?
Yeah, the Berserker game, it was okay. I mean, I didn't really think too much of it, really. I mean, it just didn't really hit well for me,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. Next up though, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got the theme song for this one. Surprisingly,
Oh,
got
yeah.
a trailer with it as well on top in the background. I was just like, I don't need to see any of this, but it's pretty crazy. Like they like we have this whole orchestra like singing and like playing, and I was like quietly behind them on this big ass screen, Sid is revealed.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Sid for the first time. Like they like tease. Um, the end of disc one moment in this, and they cut away, but you can see the Wind of Fates people behind them, and I'm like, what the fuck? What's happening here? Oh man, Gables. I need this
Yes.
game now. How many more thumbs up my ass do I need to take for this game to come out faster? I'll take all of them.
Apparently not enough.
I will take every thumb I have to for this game to come out faster. Um, I'll take
Oh
your
my
thumb.
gosh.
Whatever I gotta do, Gables.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well,
Anyway.
Gables, then we're not gonna get Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Someone's got to take one for the team, and I'm taking it.
But oh man, that musical performance was freaking awesome in my honest opinion. The trailer in and of itself was fine. Everything else inside that trailer looked fantastic. Obviously, the teasing of the characters and stuff, the situations, like with Cloud and Aerith and stuff, the revealing of Sid, and like all the bunch of different like set pieces and stuff, kind of like that love story sort of like vibe or something with
Mm-hmm.
all that different stuff. I thought it was perfect in terms of how they presented that, and it just made me a little bit more excited when the remake, the rebirth with Rebirth comes out towards the end of February.
Mm-hmm. February 29th. I'll take one thumb for every hour it comes out faster. How many thumbs is that to come out tomorrow? I'll figure it out later. Um, yeah. Anyways, next up here, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. They're doing a crossover with Apex Legends. Some of the characters will be in the game. They have like it shows like the Buster Sword and stuff like that. So that is happening January 9th. Next up here, Skull and Bones. We talked about this. This did leak. February 16th, the game is coming out. There's a beta on December 15th. Um, okay. I got nothing else to add, Gables. Let's just, well, all right. We'll wait to see if it comes out.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see at this point. I mean, I was actually pretty much laughing when it's like, oh, okay. Oh, it's actually going to come out this time now,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. I hope I just want the long national nightmare of this game just to finally be over. So let's just get it over with. Just rip the band-aid off, put it out. Um, Next up here, Leon rather, revealed Blade. They are making a Blade game. This is the team that made. This is the main team, not the Redfall team. This is the Deathloop Dishonored team that's making this game. They announced this because this is the 50th anniversary of Blade, so that's why this was announced here. But apparently this game is still a ways away. But yeah, honestly, I didn't never thought of this before. Probably wouldn't not ever thought of this in a million years. But a Blade, Arcane Leon mashup is actually perfect. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
This has me fucking excited, dude. I mean, this is the concept of Arcane, they're having their best team go forward and stuff to creating a Blade game with as rich of a series as that is. Man, Xbox has finally had their exclusive Marvel game.
yeah, yeah. So hope this game is as good as we think it can be, because that would be an all timer right there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
man.
yeah, I'm gonna start skipping through some of these because some of these are smaller stuff here. The GTFO team announced their next game, Den of Wolves. It's a sci-fi heist game, so that is happening. Gables, you got anything to say on some of these? Just stop me.
Okay.
Exoborn, Master of the Apocalypse. This is from the team that made behind the Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. It is an open world extraction shooter. Hello Games did announce their next game, Light No Fire. Apparently this game is like it's a the first real open world something without boundaries is what he said. It's like he said it's the game that's the size of the earth and everybody's on it. Like you're riding dragons, it's a survival game. Sean Murray up there, and I'm just like I feel like the entire team is probably like in the crowd like stop saying shit, dude. Remember last time? But I don't know. I mean, they said they've been working on this game for about 5 years now. And they even made a joke on Twitter about the team did about Sean Murray being up on the stage and stuff like that. But hey, I like this. They turned the No Man's Sky turned around. That game is so much better than I think anybody ever thought it could be before launch. And it's unfortunately that it will forever be remembered for the launch. But I mean, that game definitely turned around the years since then, and it's been 7 years, and the game is still extremely popular. So I hope this game comes out and it's actually everything they say it's going to be, and people. And I feel
Right.
like they can't do it again. But honestly, though, they could do it again because no one would think they do it again. But I don't think they'll do it again.
Oh, they
But
do it
there's no
again.
way. But
The
what are you thinking, Gables?
concepts seem nice, but it's a Sean Murray. He, heck, after No Man's Sky launched the state that it did, I mean, eventually it did come around and become like a lot, hell of a lot better than what it was at launch. At the same point, when I look at the new game that he has instead, like in stock here for what he's going that he has been working on and stuff, there's just a lot of questions left to be answered and stuff, like whether this is going to be what he claims it to be, which is fully explorable sort of world or something where it'll just take you so long to go from one place to another, or just the little details of this and that. I mean, that's that in and of itself, I feel is even more ambitious than going doing like all sorts of various exploring the universe and all this other stuff. But we'll see what
Yeah,
happens when that game initially does like
yeah.
release.
Definitely not a game I'll play, but I'm rooting for. So it took a team of like 12
Yeah.
people. So next up here, Gables, with the greatest news of all time. Final Fantasy 16 DLC, baby. Echoes of the Fallen
Hmm.
out today. Out shadow drop, Gables. We got a fucking shadow drop. And shockingly, and then the Rising Tide is on its way. I think they said spring 2024 for that one. You can actually buy Echoes of the Fallen for $10 now, or you can buy the whole thing for both parts for $25. I think the second one's gonna be 20. So if you want to save $5, you can just buy the whole thing together. You also get they also have the Buster Sword in there, and a couple of other like costumes you can change. They did do they did an update a couple months ago, I guess, where you can do like transmog all everything. So that was pretty
Okay.
awesome. So I spoiler, I bought this thing literally as soon as it came up. I bought it. I played a little bit. I played about the first hour so far of Echoes of the Fallen. Fucking rules. But yeah, it was cool to walk around with the Buster Sword, so that's pretty fucking sweet. But that did happen, and yes, I can one of the best games of the goddamn year, and I get to be with my boy Clive and his brother Joshua.
I'll tell you what, man, that's awesome. It's awesome. I actually think it's pretty hilarious that not one but two games that were contenders for like say Game of the Year and stuff had DLC that was just announced right in the middle of the Game
Yeah,
Awards.
yeah. So the one last thing that was announced was Monster Hunter Wilds, which we pretty much like this has been like an open secret pretty much all year that this was going to be revealed there. Everybody we were all calling it Monster Hunter World 2, but it's actually called Wilds, and it kind of makes sense because it looks very much like they all played Breath of the Wild. Like, what if we make a Monster Hunter game but like Breath of the Wild? And definitely looks like what that's what's going to be. You have like a bird, you can like actually like fly a little bit, and like a lot more base. It's a lot more vertical than the other games. Looks like. This is also coming though in 2025, kind of surprisingly. So, but
Mm,
I'm not a Monster Hunter person.
not too
What?
surprisingly. I think it was not too surprisingly. I mean, the amount of detail they're trying to go into just creating this type of world and
Yeah.
stuff like that for Monster Hunter Wilds and stuff. The initial reveal trailer and stuff, it looks like they're trying to look more of like like almost like a desert-like theme and stuff to that initial reveal and stuff. So it's like you have all these different monsters and just this whole scene and stuff to where you're exploring around and stuff and just chased by this big ass like monster like all these actually not just like a big ass monster but like a big like hordes of like monsters behind you and stuff. You have to travel try to evade them while you're trying to do this and that. The concepts of what they're trying to aim for this seem really interesting and really like ambitious
Yeah.
with it. But yeah, I mean, this is what a lot of longtime Monster Hunter fans have been waiting for. I mean, Monster Hunter World, the fans have been going back for that, playing a lot of the different content stuff, just waiting upon the next big entry in the series after they went through and finished like say
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise and
Sunborn
stuff,
was that
and
the DLC? Yeah.
Sunborn, the expansion for
Yeah.
that back. And of course, a lot of them after completing that, they just want to go back to Monster Hunter World because they want to play a little bit more of that. So this is definitely going to be a huge game when it does launch in
Yeah.
2025. Obviously, we'll see some more gameplay and some more features that are different or have changed for the better in terms of that, maybe before then. But yeah, we'll definitely get some more information about this game
Yeah.
soon.
And then last up here that Baldur's Gate 3 was released right after the Game Awards on Xbox as well.
Hmm.
Apparently, the CEO of the company put out that he's like, I had one job, and that was if we won, to announce that Baldur's Gate 3 was on Xbox now. But he said because they were rushed off the stage that he didn't have time to actually make that announcement. So yeah,
Wow.
so yep, that's what happened there. But Gables, let's get into quickly here. Go through some of the winners we got here. So um, we'll start from the bottom. We'll work our way up here. Uh,
Yeah.
Player's voice. So this is like fans get 100% of the votes of who wins. The final five here starts with I think 30 and works its way down to 5, and then we have the winner. So the final 5 were Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Genshin Impact, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Tears of the Kingdom. No surprise, Baldur's Gate 3 won. Best adaptation, Last of Us. I don't think there's any real surprise there, Gables. I think we all kind of knew that was coming.
Mm.
Most anticipated, another no surprise here. I feel like we can say a lot here about some of these games here. Final Fantasy 7
Yep.
Rebirth won that one. Saw esports stuff here we can skip through. You did call this one Content Creator of the Year, though. Iron Mouse won that one. So
Yeah, there's no
yeah.
contest.
Best multiplayer game, Baldur's Gate 3 won that one. Um, so yeah, makes sense. Best sim strategy game, Gables Pikmin 4 won that one. So pretty cool there. So I think we both have figured that one. So
Yeah.
I feel like we did probably really good at our guesses for the award show this year.
I think we did
Yeah,
for the
I feel
most
like this
part.
year was like it was really tough, like because there's so many great games, but ultimately like I feel like if there was like betting favorites on every single category, I feel like the favorite won most of them.
Yeah, so a lot of the predictions, a lot of the reward stuff are probably highly
Yeah, which
predictable.
isn't a bad thing. But 'cause I feel like it was deserving. I've seen a lot of people like. There's always gonna be backlash because like it's usually people just mad that a game they like didn't win or, because like someone pointed out
Yeah.
like Spider-Man 2 didn't win an award, but it's like there's been 3 Spider-Man games come out in the last 5 years, none of them won an award. Every year there was
Hmm.
always a big game that just unfortunately is like just goes against in every single category the bigger game, and it's just I think Mario Odyssey only won like one
And yeah,
award in 2017. Uh,
yep.
Horizon Zero Dawn didn't win it all in 2017. Like I said, all 3 Spider-Man games did not win the year it came out. Every year there's always at least one game that just you know gets left out. Unfortunately, it just keeps being Spider-Man. Uh, but I mean, I love that game. It's definitely in my short list for game of the year. But I can't argue the games that it lost to. Best sports racing game, Forza Motorsports. No real surprise there. Best family game, Gables. The Nintendo Award went to a Nintendo game, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So that
Yep.
was I think the two. I think that's the only two that Nintendo won this year. Um, Best fighting game, Gables. It's pretty cool for you here, but I don't think anybody was really surprised. It was Street Fighter 6. So yeah,
Yep. No real
yeah,
surprise there.
very deserving. Really, the only real competition that was Mortal Kombat 1. But best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, can't argue that one. Best action adventure game, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So pretty awesome there to see them win that
Wow.
one. Yeah, one of the greatest games of all. It's crazy. Like this is like one of the greatest games of all time. And when you look back at the 2023 Game Awards, you're gonna see it won one award. Um, Interestingly enough, Resident Evil 4 and Jedi Survivor didn't win any awards either. So
So yeah, there were definitely some good games that were snubbed in sort of the awards,
yeah.
but they were competing against a couple of different generational type of games
Yeah,
too. So it's really not that
yeah. There's
bad.
a difference between being game of the year contender and best game of all time, and so sometimes you're like that's where you are in the end. Best action game here, no surprise again. Armored Core 6, Fires Rubicon. Uh, yeah,
Yep.
pretty like no shock there. Very deserving. Scroll through some of these here. Best community support, Baldur's Gate 3. Best of debut indie game, Gables. Cocoon, my boy won. Um, yeah,
Yep.
that game was fucking amazing. So that's awesome there. Best indie game, Gables. I think this is a game that you're rooting for here. Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars. Very happy
Yeah,
that game
very
won.
cool. Best ongoing game. I've seen some backlash about this one, and I understand it. Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm fine with it on the idea that it
Yeah.
was for Phantom Liberty. Uh, I've seen the argument of like, well, yeah, but the game is so much better now when it launched. I'm like, to me, that's not a good argument. Like, if this won and Phantom Liberty wasn't a thing, yeah, I'd call that bullshit. It's like, hey, you fixing your game 3 years later, it does not deserve best ongoing. But the idea there was a big expansion involved. Totally fine with that
Yes.
one. Um, best performance, Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3. My heart and my penis wanted Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16, but nay. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. Gables, I was reading a thing about this, that the Baldur's Gate 3 voice
Yeah.
actors had to do 16 games worth of voice acting for this because there's so many different ways the game can play out.
Oh my
So
god, dude, that's just insane to
maybe the
me.
entire best performance should have just been all the Baldur's Gate 3 actors. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to argue against it. Um,
Oh yeah, no
best
shit.
audio design went to the best game of all time, Hi-Fi Rush. Fuck yeah, let's go. My boy Chai winning one there for him. Also, my other boy Clive winning best score of music, Final Fantasy 16. Fuck yeah, deserved it. I talked about it. Um, the music, like there was one point of the game where the music was so hyped with what was happening in the game that I was so hyped I started crying. Not because I was sad, because it was so fucking awesome what was happening on the screen and to my ears that I couldn't help but cry. And it was great. So yeah, best definitely deserved it. Um, but yeah, Alan Wake 2, Tears of the Kingdom also. Hi-Fi Rush as well, definitely deserved it. But all category. Gibbles, so you haven't played Alan Wake 2. What was your reaction to the
No.
Champion of Light song? How could
The champion
when they
of
did
light.
the whole song and
Yeah,
dance?
that
How
was
confused were you? Yeah,
pretty confused. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It was so much fourth wall breaking inside of that song alone and stuff. But it was just kind of funny and also really weird to see like some serious characters all of a sudden they're just going through, just start
Sam Lake
dancing and all this
on
other
the
shit.
up on the stage. What's funny is like he did that whole song and dance, and like 20 minutes later, they won an award and he had to go on the stage. He was still out of breath and sweating from the fucking the song. And it was fucking hilarious. It was funny because like a few of us in our Discord chat were like chatting about it, and there was like multiple people in there. Like I'd say like there's like 6 of us talking, and like I'd say only me and Cam were the only ones that actually played through the game, and the other 4 were like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "You guys are being spoiled on one of the coolest moments in video games in 2023. You have no idea. It's the coolest fucking thing." So yeah, I loved it.
Uh,
So uh,
I love it when like a few people get the end joke and everyone else is like,
yeah,
"What the
like
fuck?
me and
What?"
Cam were like freaking out, and everybody else is like, well, "This is dumb. What is this?" But
I
best narrative and best game direction, no surprise, went to Alan Wake 2.
love it
Can't
too.
argue
Yep.
those ones either. And the game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I said, it was. I feel like we probably nailed most of those predictions. I have to go back and
Yeah.
I'll have to go
No
back and
shit.
listen and figure out what we predicted. But yeah, yeah, I got it was a lot of it was hard. It's like none of them were surprising, but also then again, it's like I really can't like yeah, like I had my personal favorites, but I feel like overall, it's like I couldn't really argue against the winners.
I can't really argue against a lot of the winners either. I mean, it was kind of straightforward to what I felt like that the games that would win, but I really did believe that with Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, when that game first launched, that game was being talked about for a long ass
Yeah,
time and still is getting talked about. And there's so much stuff. The biggest thing that kind of set me to think this was going to win Game of the Year is how well it did with the Joystick Awards. Like how many awards that it received right
yeah,
to there, how many different like stylings and stuff people have been playing through this game on like Twitch and stuff. It's one of the biggest like stream games on Twitch still since it's launched. But yeah, I mean, what else can I say about it? It's like it's one of those games to where it's a turn-based RPG stuff. Didn't really have a chance really to even experiment and try to play with that because drowning in games, drowning in a backlog of so many different games releases from this one
yeah,
year.
yeah,
And unfortunately, that and Spider-Man 2 will be the casualties for me for this year. But other than that, though, just the Game Awards itself was, I felt, was fairly
yeah,
good. It definitely felt like to me like a 8 out of 10 overall in terms of scale because there was excellent announcements. I mean, sure, they should have given enough time for the people that won their awards and stuff in order to give like, their thankful speeches. And what's really sad for the game of the year, like people the for Baldur's Gate 3 and the development crew and everything else, the CEO of the company not literally able to speak more than, like, say, 45
Yeah,
seconds. That's
yeah.
bullshit.
Especially, I feel like if it, like I'm not saying give them 5-10 minutes each, but like give them 2-3 minutes. And but
No.
game of the year, like give them five. Give them five. It's literally the end of the show.
Yes.
Literally, you have a guy in there talking about one of their a lead person on their team dying just a few weeks ago, like and like
Oh,
as
yeah.
you're giving the wrap them up. So yeah, like I yeah, I agree with you. I give it like an out of 10. That aside, like it was a very enjoyable show. It flew by.
It
Yeah,
absolutely
was it very
did.
because like we've talked about there's been years where it's like it lulled. There were like I talked about at the beginning of the show, like there was a lot of lulls points. There was we had the Schick Hydro Man years ago. We've had like the celebrities that were just there for the paycheck. They didn't actually know anything
Yep.
or weren't even involved in a video game, and were just there to make the same lame jokes about nerds and that we've been hearing, like the laziest jokes out there.
For the past 20,
Yeah, it's
30
like so. It's
years
like
at this point.
I feel like it's gotten better about it, and like sometimes maybe there's like too much celebrity shit, but like I feel like this year there's a lot of it, but like every single one was like, okay, they're actually here to be a part. They're a part of a game. They're promoting something that's game related, so it makes sense why they're here. And like I get why they like, hey, we could say we had Al Pacino on the stage. We could say we had Matthew McConaughey on the stage. People will pay attention to that. There
Yep.
will be people out there that will give that notice. So I get like it's all a balancing act of everything. So I always have given this a little bit of like I've been maybe a little I've been always fair with it. I've always been trying to more understanding of it than everything. Because I understand, like like a lot of things have to happen for this game to like for this show to exist. I feel like sometimes he he tries to correct things from the past year that people didn't like, and sometimes he
Yeah.
overcorrects on things. But every year, I think he's getting better at it. And like he said, and sometimes,
Yes.
but some years it's just like he talked about himself. He's like, I can't make the games myself, and I know and understand the show is only as good as the games that I have to show you. And this year he had the goods. So and he not only did
Yes,
he
we
have the
did.
goods, he had a lot of the goods, and he did and it was great. I was entertained throughout. So yeah, I'm with you. Probably like an 8 out of 10 as well. Maybe like an 8.5. I'll go 8.5. But yeah, it's great, really great show. I had a good time with it. But Gables, I think that will wrap it
Mhm.
up. We have gone long, but
Yes.
we'll be back next week with another podcast for you guys. I think that'll probably be like next week will probably be the last normal podcast for the next few weeks because I think in a couple weeks
Yeah.
we're gonna do like a year in review the week of Christmas.
Yep.
And then after that, we're gonna do 2 weeks of our game of the year. So Gables and I can get a little bit of a break over the next few weeks. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah, this week,
yes.
this is like a little bit different this week because we had the Game Awards, and then next week we'll go back to everything normal out there. But then yeah, it's gonna be interesting the next month or so of the podcast. But yeah, so make sure you go out there, you like, follow, subscribe, follow us at wherever podcast service you're on, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, shares, all that, thumbs up, 5 stars, comments, anything you can do to do that, we would appreciate it. But I was your host, I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables, so until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds
Thank you, Gables.
podcast.
Too
Yeah,
sweet.
too
Bye,
sweet, man.
guys.
Sega is back.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Bye.
Later, guys. See ya.